Hello, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Welcome back to Premier League Countdown. This is the Brighton and Hove Albion episode. I'm glad that some of you lot have been enjoying this series so far. Started this series last year, and we're doing it again this year, and it's just getting us just as much as appreciation as it did last year. Now, whether you're a Brighton fan watching this, a fan of any club, make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 500, and we're trying to hit that before the end of the year. Looks like we're going to hit it the end of this month, but if you can make that happen quicker, that'll be great. Leave a like on the video as well if you do enjoy. And we preview every team in this series up until the Premier League starts. So by the time we get to Wolves, the Premier League would have started either the next day or on a day. So every team every day. Brighton and Hove Albion. Let's get straight into it. Now it's funny. I'm recording this at 3:30 on a Tuesday. You're seeing this at 8 p.m. And a bit of news came out. A bit of news from the Brighton and Hove Albion camp, and that is Pascal Gross to Borussia Dortmund. Here we go. Deal agreed for the 33-year-old midfielder to join Borussia Dortmund. Documents now ready between Brighton and Dortmund, set to be signed in the next 24 to 48 hours. Brighton to receive initial fee around 7 million euros plus add-ons. Now, the Pascal Gross one is very interesting because he has been a key player to Brighton for a very long time. I think he was there when even Chris Hughton was there at Brighton. I could be wrong, but at least he was there with Graham Potter. He's been there for a few years now, and especially the past 5 years, I think most of us can agree, he's been quite underrated over the years, and he's played in multiple positions. Like people talk about Mikel Antonio from West Ham aspects when it comes to multiple positions. This guy's played everywhere. This guy has obviously played at wing back in certain systems, played inverted fullback in certain positions, or just fullback. Played in both fullback positions as well, left back and right back. Played in both wing positions. Played in a 6, 8, 10. And I don't know if he's played false nine. I could be wrong, but he's played in multiple positions. But that's how technically gifted the guy is in certain systems. If there's anyone that has the ability to quickly adjust to the new system, where every time a new manager comes in for Brighton, it is Pascal Gross. Now, typically as well with Brighton, usually when a new manager comes in, they don't even look much, not different, but in terms of they don't drop down a level. In fact, with De Zerbi, they went up a level in a season, and they dipped a little bit. They did have quite a bit of an injury crisis as well. There was a bit of a situation going on with the goalkeeper situation. Obviously, I'm pretty sure De Zerbi fell out of Robert Sanchez, but Robert Sanchez has never been that good, in my opinion. They got Bart Verbruggen in as his replacement. Jason's still impressed when in Sanchez's in Sanchez's like not absence, but when he was dropped. But then Verbruggen pretty much proved that he's a way better goalkeeper than Jason Still, in my opinion. Jason Still's not even terrible, but it's just I think he can sit down as a number 2. I'm pretty sure De Zerbi did like him though. Obviously, they've got a new manager called Hertzler. I don't really know how to pronounce his name still, and he came from St. Paul, I think, or something like that. And to be completely honest with you, I know nothing about the manager. All I know is that he likes to play 3 at the back, I think. And that is obviously goes back to how Graham Potter played. But obviously, we don't know the intricacies of his style of play and stuff like that. I've not watched a Brighton pre-season game. I've not even seen a highlight. I've just seen goals. Well, I've seen highlights. I've seen like certain players score and stuff. We're going to get onto the transfer window in a sec. But obviously, with the absence of Caicedo and McAllister last season as well, it was very interesting to see how they would cope with that when they had Billy Gilmore stepping up into a more first team role, was stepping up as a starter, and Carlos Baleba being signed, a very young midfielder, very raw, probably not ready yet, but maybe give it a year or two, he might come into his own. He might come into his own this season as well. So they had to switch him around the midfield quite a lot, which mainly didn't get them to the level that they probably should have kept up in terms of battling for Europe. At the back end of the season, was a lot of discontent whether De Zerbi was going to leave or not. I thought he was going to move to Manchester United at one point. He was linked with Bayern Munich, was linked with Barcelona, was linked with Chelsea. He ended up going to Marseille in the end, which is, don't get me wrong, he's a massive club. But it probably wasn't the club that De Zerbi wanted in terms of calibre. But now talking about the current day Brighton, let's get on to their transfer window just for a sec. Obviously, Yakuba Minter is a signing from Newcastle. Probably a signing that Newcastle probably should have let go when it comes to the wingers, but they needed to sell apparently. Obviously, they probably should have sold Almiron but the Saudi interest died down, and they didn't want to sell him in January, probably because they couldn't get a replacement in. But Newcastle needed the money, and they've got a good signing from what I've heard. From the people that watch the Dutch league as well, from Feyenoord. Speaking of Feyenoord, they've also signed Mats Wijfer. Brighton actually want to spend money now and spend it instead of like just signing like under the radar Ecuadorians, all the time. But to be fair, they found some gems, but they've got a lot of money to spend because think about it, I'm sure their FFP situation, them and Brentford are probably the most fine when it comes to FFP situations. I'd argue probably Chelsea and Man City due to the fact that they sell a lot as well. Just Chelsea spend a lot also. But also Ibrahim Osman was actually a deal done just after the January transfer window as well. Someone that my club were interested in, but kept haggling over money. I've heard he's a good player as well, and also another winger that may play a part in the first team as well is. I don't know about anything about this Yakue guy, but Kozia Dubry. This is someone I've watched once because he played in the Youth Cup final against West Ham United, and I thought they cloned Saka in the Arsenal team. I thought they just cloned Saka. So this guy is a very, very decent winger. And if he does look how he did in the youth games in the first team as well, and how he's looked in the couple preseason clips I've seen, then yeah, he could be a gem of a signing, especially as on a free transfer. I'm very shocked that Arsenal let him go on a free. Very shocked indeed. I know this probably wasn't a pathway for him, but come on, for a guy of his talent, I was very shocked. But overall, this Brighton window, obviously, this is probably that Wijfer guy's probably I'm assuming the Caicedo replacement now, because they probably didn't replace him properly. Last window, they probably didn't really replace McAllister either, unless I'm trying to think of their attacking players now. Obviously, they've got players coming back from injury that are going to have a whole new season as well. Like Matoma was injured last season, then Cesar was injured last season. We'll see if Evan Ferguson is really the level that he has showed in glimpses this season. Danny Welbeck is still there. He can still play a part in some games. I'm pretty sure James Milner is still playing football. It's 2024, and James Milner is still playing football. Yes, you heard that correctly. If we're looking at where Brighton could finish next season, that is also very interesting. Because in my opinion, I have no idea. And it's going to be very hard to predict them when it comes to my eventual predictions video. But with Brighton, they could either finish about 6th or 14th. Genuinely, and that's probably, obviously, that's going to be the range of positions they finish in because they're not going to be in a relegation battle. And I don't think they're going to be in a top 4 battle unless they really surprise me. I think their certain striker situation probably would need to be sorted out, in my opinion. Ferguson's a good prospect. Pedro's a good player. João Pedro is a very good player. And Danny Welbeck can play a part still. But is that enough to get Europe? I'm not too sure. But João Pedro is a good player. And he will probably be their starting striker, depending on the formation as well, because he can play number 10. He's probably not an out-and-out number 9 either. Whether Brighton are looking to do more business throughout this window, I am yet to see. I am yet to see them linked towards players, but Pascal Gross will be a big loss as well. That guy could Cruyff turn for days and years. The guy loves a Cruyff turn to his left foot just to slot it in. Very underrated player, and obviously Nagelsmann saw the good in Pascal Gross as well after calling him up to the Euros. If you're a Brighton fan, are you optimistic? Are you negative? Let me know how you're feeling towards the season. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say really on Brighton. Is a very much of a I don't know. When it comes to the trajectory of their project, we are yet to see. We are yet to see because I don't really know too much about their manager, but they always seem to find a gem. Now, this manager could be another De Zerbi, but they talk about him in the next couple of years as being linked towards some of the big clubs. Because I wasn't familiar with De Zerbi. I didn't know who he was when he was at Sassuolo. So that's also going to be interesting as well. They're not afraid to pay compensation for managers either. There was rumours of Graham Potter coming back. I think Graham Potter's waiting on the England job. We're yet to see who's going to be hired as an England manager at this moment in time. But I think Graham Potter was waiting for either that or the Man United job. I think that's also why he rejected Leicester City as well and Ajax. But yeah, listen. Make sure to get your comments in and like the video. Subscribe if you're new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. The email for the inquiries. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year. And I'll see you guys later.